Hey guys, long time no see for a Cub Cadet video, but was doing a little bit of firewood and shut it off, loaded up the bed, went to start it. Guess what? No start. So I've got the fuse block disconnected right now, and it obviously shuts everything down. But what happened was when you turn the key, absolutely nothing happened. So I know that there must be some kind of neutral safety switch because it doesn't start in gear unless you have your foot on the brake. So that adds a second switch to the mix. Some kind of neutral safety, a brake switch that overrides that. Obviously you have a starter, you have an ignition switch, you have a starter relay, and a fuse. I don't know why they make it so complicated, but what I did, and if you saw one of my other videos on where the fuse box is and how to remove it, I removed the fuse box, took it into the shop, took the cover off, and I found a 10 amp fuse, and we're going to go see that in a minute. First real issue I've had with this, other than the knock and U-joints, the seat, and the rusty steering wheel, as you can see I fixed that pretty nice. Sarcasm, of course, I haven't done anything with it. But yeah, let's see if that fuse is going to solve this issue, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we've got the fuse relay box removed from the Cub, and if you saw that other video, I'll put a link to it in the description. This will make sense. And coming from automotive repair industry, owning my own shop for a dozen years, I kind of have this thing for meters. As opposed to pulling all of these fuses out and having a look, hopefully you can see the display, but if you set it to ohms, touch your two probes together, you should get 0 or pretty darn close to it. So if you have a bad fuse, you're gonna stick with this OL overload. So we'll check each fuse individually. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Alright, this one is not good. We'll take it out and visually inspect it, but this just saves you from having to pull out every fuse and looking at it. Good. 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 And good. So let's pull out that one that doesn't test good, and we'll take a peek at it. And I think it was that one. Yeah, I'm sure you're not going to be able to see this, but that fuse is no good. No idea what circuit it runs, but we're going to replace it with a good fuse. If I can open this. And we'll double check it to make sure I don't plug a bad fuse into this. God knows that's happened before. Okay, so we're good. So we're going to put this back into the Cub, plug it all back in, and see if our problem is cured. I got to tell you, if it's not, with all the systems that are involved with this, turning the key forward, the check engine light comes on, I hear the fuel pump run, so that means that the ECU, ECM, the brain seems to be working. If there's something with an interlock switch or an ignition switch or something like that that's not related to this fuse, I'm going to hardwire a push button switch right to the starter. So you're going to need, in my case, to turn the key on, push the switch to engage a starter, and the machine should start. But I'm really hoping this is the issue. My only concern is, why did that fuse blow? So if I had a mini 10 amp breaker, I would put that back in there so it resets after, you know, it cools down if there is some kind of a short or an overdraw. But I don't, so this is what I'm going to do for now. And just to let y'all know, I was able to find a Cub Cadet shop manual, service manual on Etsy. I downloaded it today, and I just kind of cruised through it real quick to see where the starter relay was and things like that. It was $10, 255 pages, and the seller claims it was the same manual that the shop techs use in, I guess, the dealerships or repair centers or wherever. But I figured for $10, you know, there's got to be $10 worth of useful information in there. And there was. It showed me where the starter relay was and some of the wiring and so forth. But anyway, we're going to put this back together, and we'll be right back to see what happens. Okay, so we're all plugged back in, and let's try it and see what happens. Turn our key on. We're in neutral. I don't have a ton of hours or time into this thing, so. But like I said before, I'm not sure why that fuse blew, and that's my real concern. I did check the battery voltage. It was 12.13, so I know it's not a dead battery issue. Hasn't been since I made that last video about the standoffs for jump starting it without taking the seat and the covers and everything else off. So let's see what happens. Let's crank the key. All right, so that was obviously it. Yeah, I really wish I had a mini 10 amp breaker to put in it, and that would save me pulling this apart again in the future and looking for excessive draw that blows the fuse. Anyway, we're back in shape. So, like I said, I'll leave a link to the video about removing this fuse relay box in the description. And if you all have the same problem. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned, because it's been a little while since I started this video, but if you turn the key forward to the start position and then engage the starter like normal, I did hear a very, very light click, which I assumed was a relay, which actually led me to believe that the starter was at fault. But I decided to pull this off and check the fuses prior to that. You have to be in a quiet spot and just turn the key forward, and you'll hear a little click, click, and you really can't even feel it. It's obviously inside of this fuse relay box, but you can't even feel it. Normally you can put your hand on a relay, and if it's engaging, you can feel it snap, but not in this case. It was very, very minor. So yeah, that 10 amp fuse was the issue. Hopefully it was just a Chinese fuse and they're weak and there's no real issues. But if there are, we'll have another video coming out. Guys, enjoy your day. And what is today? It's Monday the 27th, March 27th, 2023. So enjoy your day, and we'll talk soon. Take care now.